this chapter was very interesting for the main fact that the two things happened mainly in this chapter. They're very interesting to characters. One of them reverting originally back to what they were in Tokyo Ghoul, and one kind of changing himself there, like wanting to become a better person, wanting to be someone else. I find that very interesting, like, you know, one side of the Ghoul is like, you know, returning back to normal, and the other one is trying to change to the better of himself and for the better of his team. So we get to see from the start of the chapter, we did get to see Tsukiyama returning that go to Ri, and it was like, I love just how Toka, like, how she's at, like, all says, oh, so you're still alive, you know? Like, they don't really give a fuck about it. It's like, oh, look at this piece of shit. It's just like, well, look at you guys. You're trying to make, you know, Yoshimura's like Will, you know, a second-hand Tegu by this. And it's like, you know what? It's like, this is a place, you know, that if, like, Kaneki ever wants to come back here, this is where it's for. This is pretty much like they'll explain the whole reason. And then I just loved that Nishiki was there as well, as he was like, hey, you stop disturbing, like, the manager and all that. It's like, you know, you're making it a shitty place like here. And it's like, oh, like, you're full of crazy shit, and yet he's like, you've gotten skinnier, but you're still the same, motherfucker, like that. It's, I just like it that, you know, he's just pretty much saying, like, we should just, like, after, like, we get back his memories, like, you've seen, like, how his life is now. It's like, I never thought he'd become a Ghoul investigator. And he's, like, saying, so what are you saying? I say we should, like, ditch his life right now and make him pull back to our side. And he's like, yeah, that's correct, but you're putting a bit of a spin on it. You're kind of twisting my words here. It's like, I really want him to go back to, like, to the Ghoul world. And, like, Toka just says it. Do you really want him back just to turn him back into a Ghoul to get killed by dogs? He's more safer, in a way, actually, going out there and doing his job than he is, like, being hunted down, now that he is one of the hunters themselves. It's like, yeah, he could get out there and killed in the action, but it's like, regardless of what, as long as he doesn't go too deep into it, which is like, now this is where, like, problems are getting in, because he's now getting very deep into the cases with the Aogiri, with them. It's like, yeah, he's like, I don't think, like, Sasaki, he's safe either way, no matter what he does, but it's like, you know, basically, it's just like, this place is here for him, this is his home. And I found that interesting, like, especially with, like, how they were trying to do it, like, especially, I know it's kind of a bad thing to say with Route A, like, Route A was kind of like Kaneki leaving the home that he just found after losing his one as a human, and that's where, like, Sordan Teiku came in. And now, like, especially when he was in, like, Route A, he kind of abandoned the home and just, like, kind of went on his own path. And I feel like it's kind of going back to that in a way, where it's like, yeah, no matter, like, Kaneki didn't have a home in that one, but this one, at least he will have something. He will have something if, like, his, like, people over there just don't want to know anymore, if it's too dangerous, we'll always have that place. And I kind of like that because, like, Kaneki basically left at the end of the manga as well, and it was like, yeah, like, this is always back for him. And I like it that, you know, even though then they have their respect that he's like, yeah, he's got his own things, we can't help that he's lost his memories. It's like, basically, it's like, it's fine if Kaneki doesn't back, and they're saying it's better that way. It's like, because there's a lot of shit I'm pretty sure Kaneki wants to do when he fully comes back, and it's like, and Tsukiyama just says it. It's like that. You can just keep being fine for Danny, but it's like, I'm gonna bring it back his memories for sure, and they're not gonna. He's not gonna stop. And it's like, even like you know, they even saying like, you know, we want to do that. It's like, I understand and see. It's like, and it shows that they wanted to do that. They wanted to bring back Kaneki. I'm sure, like, they want all those good times back there. I'm sure everyone, like, their pictures, like, you know, like Kaneki working back, like, in Ri or something. Like, I feel like they would want that. Like, I'm sure they would be all happy there, and then they wouldn't have to worry about anything. But it's just, they're at that path of, like, no return. You're seeing, like, how, like, the original Ghoul ended, like, that. With the manga, it's like, you can't go back from that, not from a fucking giant war. And then the rest of the chapter was actually like sort of Uri and Shirazu, as they were talking, say, you know, I want to be a more efficient, you know, teacher, so I can grow a lot stronger. It's like, I want to get there. And I just like, but Uri is just like, you're just still a piece of shit in my eyes. Like, he's just such a fucking asshole to it. It's like, and when he was saying, you know, he was talking about Ukaku users, he's saying, you know, exceptional Ukaku users make a morality rate drop by 70%, meaning basically if you turn it around, a worthless normal Ukaku user would raise the team's mortality rate by 70%. It's like, you know, it has an importance, like, presence in the team, and it's like, and then he's just saying it like, under his breath, like, you know, just get up, you don't have to fight, retard, I'll take your lead. So I was like, this motherfucker is like, fuck you. It's like, and then when we found out more about him, and saying like, he has reasons to, like, get stronger. We found out with Shirazu that he has, like, his, like, a little brother, and turns out that he, like, it was like, oh, I've got this little pimple, and then it decided to turn into something very horrific with the RC cells. And it's like, it was very interesting, like, you know, humans originally have a small amount of RC cells inside them, and due to like unknown reasons of the secretion, which results in a disease known as RRS, it is said to occur in like 1 in every 1 to like 3 million people, and the symptoms include like the formation of a kagune like structure, and if the condition gets worse, it causes extreme pain, nausea, you know, altered memories, I think it's like regressions like of nerves, and becoming basically it will degrade your 5 senses, and there's no known treatment, and he's got pretty much like a kagune just sticking out of his face, and it's like basically it's like he needs money so he can buy, you know, an RC inhibitor, so like he can take care of his little brother. And I was just thinking that that's really fucked up, just to see that he's got this giant profusing like blade, and it was like this little pimple that he just had to deal with, and now that it's just like literally reaping out of his face. And it's like, so he I like that we found out a little bit more about him, saying, you know, basically he wants to do this just so he can just take care, you know, of his little brother, so he gets the right treatment, so he's no longer like in pain like that, and maybe even like put some money into secure. So it's kind of like interesting. It's like I can kind of relate with that, like having like a member of my family having cancer. Like I know it's a bit extremely, they ain't got a fucking giant piece of like other kaguni sticking out, but you want to do something for it. You want to make sure that they get better. You want to put money into like if there's any treatment out there that it can make them go better. And that's what you want. That's what you especially want if a family member's hurt like that. And I did appreciate that with the chat, and they were talking, saying, you know, I can't use my Quinget. It's like, yeah, like he was hurting it. It's like, yeah, I heard it already. It's like, you know, it's a hard thing. It's like, you know, I didn't care anymore about like emotions after a while. And it's like, you know, I overcame that because he was like plagued with like emotions like regret and guilt. It's like, I think once in a while, if you blame yourself to see like comrades die because you're too cowardice to do it, like in a way, which is like, it's not, I guess it's a hard thing. It's like Shirazu's not being a coward. I guess he's just really scared of like just what exactly he's holding, like the power that he's got. And not to mention as well, like taking lives, that's a heavy thing. So very interesting. I liked how he's like, he tried to change himself, like by saying, it's like, oh, I wanted, like, I'm gonna shave my hair and just like basically like just do it just so I can like, you know, become like better in himself, like a change, a fresh start. Like maybe that's what he's thinking. It's like, I honestly, I think I respect what meaning it had to that, like him shaving his hair, but as a actual design, I like Shirazu. Like, especially like he looks just more like a plain dude now. Like I kind of like the big dumb anime hair like that. Yeah, like it looked really cool. I did enjoy that. And the ending of the chapter, when we was talking about like we had a bunch of the inspectors all together, and they were talking and saying like, you know, apparently with the new Rose report, it's like, you know, evidence shows that, you know, Aragiri and also the Rose has some sort of alliance, and we don't know if it's just a few members of Aragiri teaming up with Rose, or if it's the entire Awagiri tree, and they're pretty much saying, blaming, like, yeah, I think this caused because of fucking Kijima doing this like fucking stupid bullshit with the whole video of torturing it and showing it to everyone. And it's like, and he's like, oh, this brings in some unexpected results. It's like, it's giving us trouble. Like, regardless of what, you don't want to lie. And it's like, some people are on the fence with it, saying like, oh, like, let's just get all the enemies all on like one side. It's just like, yeah, it's like, people like Heidi were just like kind of agreeing, saying like, oh yeah, as long as we're all together, that's fine. It's like, honestly, I think it's better to divide and conquer than just to have one giant. That's how it always goes in like strategies and armies. You're not just going to take on the whole main forces. If you've got a weaker force, or if you haven't got as many people as there are ghouls, then you want to like divide and conquer. You want to take certain branches. That's why they were going out for, you know, Madam first. That's like back in the day they were trying to go out for like Tsukiyama or like some of the others. Like you don't go just for like the big guns already. Or you want to take off the little branches. That's especially how, like, you know, they do it with police. They don't want to just go straight in attacking someone like that or try and like get the Don Boss. You want to get some stuff from the inside. You want to like break down the small little things, the little factions, and then work your way up to taking off like someone as big as that. So I mean, they had a decision at the end. So basically, like, they kind of go and say, what are we going to use, you know, Operation, like, kind of like, I believe it was called, like, Operation Mask, I believe, where they were saying, yeah, we're going to get, like, all the RC, like, CUs, like, all them, like, all the QS squad are going to, like, pretty much go in. And 6 people were for it, and 4 of them were against it. I believe it was, if I was right, it was like Ui, it was like Nobu, Toga, and I think it was Satomi who were against it. And of course the ones that were up against her, it was Fura, Haru, like Kijima, and like I believe a few of the other ones that was like there. and they're like, hey, pretty much that's like it was a cool thing. But then after that, it's like they actually took Yonibashi for a bit, like after the whole thing with like Akira took it on. Kind of wondering what about that. It's like it's probably gonna be more about the whole road person, which we fucking God, we know who that fucking is. Come on, fucking come on, just reveal yourself. It's like I guess maybe they want to question her more about that. And well, the ending of the chapter, I got pretty excited as we saw like Kanae just there, like he's like, oh, I'm gonna get you, and next time I'm gonna kill you, and you see Eto right at the bottom just saying, hello Kanae, like how are you today? See, like this is what I like. There was a lot of stuff in this chapter that I enjoyed, and I can definitely see after people like complained about like sort of how I was doing Ghoul, I wasn't looking at things like as much as like, oh man, there was some flaws I wasn't looking at. I was just looking at chapter saying, oh, there's not enough action, and it's like, but I still now, especially with these chapters, like there was a lot of stuff, like the whole thing with Shirazu, like him like growing up, finding out about his past, not to mention as well, like the whole investigation is now going on where we're gonna have another one that's now about to go down, where we're gonna have like all of like the QS like users are gonna go in, like Sasuke with Operation Mass and have to get in there and become ghouls. And not to mention as well, like I just enjoy the Shirazu just trying to grow up and change. He was trying to talk it down, and finding out like about his brother was really interesting. I generally thought that was a good thing to have, and meeting up with Tokyo and seeing like how he feels about the whole Sukiyama trying to bring it back. Like there was a lot of stuff in there. Like I really did enjoy this chapter. I thought it was a decent one. I'm really looking forward to next week. I can just definitely say that much. And overall, I'd give this one like a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was a decent chapter, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with Eto like next chapter. But that's all from me, so thank you very much for watching as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, what you thought about this chapter. But that is all from me, so thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys